Every year, close to 100,000 people attempt the hunter exam. Fewer than 40 of them pass. You just became one of the 40. And here's the thing nobody tells you at the finish line. Passing was the easy part. You're holding a small rectangular card that took your entire life to earn and 30 seconds to laminate. It says you're a licensed hunter, an elite professional recognized by an organization old enough to have its own constitution, its own chairman, its own laws that sit above the laws of any country you've ever lived in. This card is supposed to open every door in the world. Right now, it just opens a very empty apartment. Level 1, the recruit. The leather of your new wallet still smells factory fresh. You'll remember that smell later, the way people remember the smell of a hospital. Because you're 19 years old, you have no rent money, and nobody warned you that professional hunter is a title, not a paycheck. You take your first contract, a low-tier retrieval job for a client too wealthy to look for their own lost property. It pays enough for 2 weeks of instant noodles. You sleep in your car outside a city you don't recognize, and the rain hits the windshield in a rhythm that almost sounds like a lullaby. It isn't. It's just cold, and you're one name on a registry of over 600 active hunters. Functionally, the least important one on the list. Senior hunters don't remember your name yet. Clients haggle you down because 100 other desperate recruits are one phone call behind you. And honestly, the worst part isn't the money. It's realizing the license didn't make you special. It just made you eligible to compete with everyone else who thought the same thing. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not. Level 2, the apprentice. A senior hunter finally takes an interest in you, not out of kindness, but because free labor is still labor, and every experienced hunter eventually needs someone to carry the flashlight while they do the dangerous part. You watch up close how the real work gets done, reading terrain that lies to you, disarming traps built by people who wanted very badly for the last person to die slowly. For the first time, you feel like you belong somewhere. Then, 3 months in, mid-job, your mentor vanishes. No explanation, no would-be. You wait 2 days in a rented room before you understand. Apprenticeships in this world end one of 2 ways: graduation or disappearance. And nobody tells you in advance which one is coming for you. You finish the job alone. You get paid. It's the first time the money feels earned instead of scavenged. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not. Level 3, the specialist. Word gets around. You've picked a lane: bounty work, retrieval, tracking things other people are too scared to touch. And you're good enough now that clients ask for you by name. But the moment you become known for something, you stop getting the easy jobs. You start getting the ones nobody else will take. You're handed a bounty on a man who was once a hunter himself, stripped of his license for reasons nobody wants to say out loud. He knows every technique you know, because hunters train hunters, and the tree only has so many branches. The fight is quiet, fast, and it ends with you standing over someone who chose the same road you did and simply ended up on the wrong side of it. He says nothing. There's nothing left to say between 2 people who once wanted the exact same future. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not. Level 4, the veteran. You buried 3 colleagues by now. You stop attending memorials. Not out of disrespect, but because grief starts to feel like a second unpaid job, and you genuinely cannot afford to keep clocking into it. Then a job goes wrong in a way you didn't see coming. Not because you were careless, but because the client lied about what you were actually hunting. You get the civilian out alive. You get yourself out barely alive. And when you wake up in a stranger's clinic 3 days later, you learn the partner who pulled you out of the wreckage quit the profession that same night and left without saying why. You finally understand something senior hunters never say out loud. The ones who survive long enough to become experienced are usually the ones who've quietly stopped expecting anyone to stay. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not. If this climb is starting to feel heavier than you expected, that's the point. Hit like and subscribe now, because level 10 is where the real cost of the ladder finally comes due. Level 5, the first star. The association's ranking system awards up to 3 stars over a career, and the first one requires results specific enough to be cited in official records for years afterward. People start introducing you by rank before they introduce you by name. The ceremony is smaller than you imagined, a stamp form, a handshake from an administrator already thinking about their next meeting. That's the entire reward for years of near-death experiences. A receipt, not an arrival. Your family stops asking when you'll get a normal job. Not because they've accepted your life, because they've quietly given up trying to understand it. And that silence is worse than the arguments used to be. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not. Level 6, the mentor. The second star has a condition attached. You must take on an official association role and mentor another hunter, one who has to earn a star of their own before you can advance further. Your survival stops being just yours. It's tied now to a kid who reminds you uncomfortably of yourself at level 1, minus the scar tissue. Mentoring feels like purpose, finally, something bigger than a paycheck. Then you watch your apprentice nearly die on their first real job, frozen 2 feet away while you scream instructions they can't hear over their own panic. You pull them out, barely, and you understand, with total clarity, that every senior hunter who ever trained you must have felt this exact fear and simply never once mentioned it. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not, because now the fear doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to someone you're responsible for keeping alive. Level 7, the second star. Your apprentice survives, earns their star, which means, finally, you've earned yours. 2 stars, and by the association's own numbers, hunters this decorated are a minority within a minority. But the danger changes shape. A fellow double-star hunter, someone you train alongside for a decade, quietly blocks your promotion behind closed doors because your success makes us look smaller by comparison. You find out only by accident, reading a memo you weren't supposed to see. There's no fight, no confrontation, just a cold, professional smile the next time you see him in a hallway, and the sudden understanding that your real competition was never the monsters in the field. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not. Level 8, the legend. Younger hunters start studying your old case files. People whisper your name in the same breath as hunters who are already dead, which, in this profession, is the strange, backhanded version of a compliment. This should feel like validation for everything you sacrificed. Instead, you realize you can't remember the last ordinary conversation you had that wasn't about a mission, a bounty, or an association dispute. Somewhere along the way, your entire identity was quietly replaced by your resume. You'd think legends get to retire quietly. They don't. The association keeps finding reasons to need you. One more time, just once more, always just once more. Level 9, the triple star. The third star is the rarest of all by the association's own records. Only around 10 triple star hunters exist at any given time out of hundreds of licensed professionals worldwide. To get here, you achieved genuinely remarkable results across multiple fields and mentored someone who went on to mentor someone else. Your influence stopped being a single thread. It became a web. The price of the web is that you're no longer allowed to be ordinary in any room for any reason. Every decision gets studied. Every mistake becomes a lesson in somebody else's training manual. You missed a family funeral once for a triple star obligation. You don't talk about it. That silence calcified into something you still can't name. Not quite regret, not quite acceptance. Just a permanent, low-grade ache. You'd think that's the worst of it. It is not. Level 10, the ghost. You made it. Chairman, senior advisor, legend, whichever title finally landed on you. You are, by every metric the association tracks, a success story. But the people who started this climb alongside you are gone, retired quietly, gone publicly, or faded into administrative footnotes nobody bothers reading anymore. You finally have the power to rewrite the very bylaws that nearly broke you decades ago. Then you realize the system was never waiting for you to fix it. It only needed you to survive it long enough to become part of it. Somewhere out there, right now, a 19-year-old is holding a brand new license, admiring the smell of leather that hasn't been ruined yet. They don't know what's coming. Neither did you. And that's the part nobody tells you when you start climbing. The ladder doesn't end. It just replaces whoever is standing on top of it. The cycle continues. Maybe that's the real lesson buried under all 10 levels. Not that power corrupts, and not that ambition costs everything, but that any system built on climbing needs someone at the bottom who still believes the view from the top is worth it. Every profession has some version of this ladder. Most of them just don't hand you a license that admits it out loud. So here's the question worth sitting with. If you knew, at level 1, everything level 10 would eventually cost you, would you still take the exam? Let me know which level you think is the actual breaking point in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.